we get into some nerdy news?
Yes.
We still got some stuff to discuss.
We've still got a lot to discuss. This is a hefty week.
It is. We got an Echo trailer.
We did.
Less than 24 hours after we recorded, and that Variety article that basically said MCU is in shambles.
Yeah, it's collapsing.
We got one of the most hype Marvel trailers I've seen in a while.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. It like we messaged each other and it's like up and down. I saw a meme and it was just like Marvel's at a peak, Marvel's done for. Oh, Marvel's definitely done for this time. And it's like, oh no, we're back again.
Yeah. I sent you that trailer. I was like, are we already back?
Yeah.
Are we back like we never actually left? We won't talk about the trailer too much, but what I will say is the main takeaway from the trailer for me is the scene of a young Maya getting harassed by someone for being deaf and Kingpin wailing on him was awesome. And I also never thought I would see a Marvel trailer where someone gets shot point blank in the head.
Yeah. They're under the chin, just like, I mean, it's going to be isn't this the first Disney R-rated show? Like the first one on Disney Plus that's going to be R-rated.
First original Disney Plus. I believe so.
So it's like
definitely the first Marvel R-rated project.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've had any other Disney Plus shows that have been R-rated. I don't know about Dope Sick and stuff like that.
But for Marvel at least. So
for Marvel, 100%.
I mean, they're showing they're not going to pull back the punches in any way, like from that trailer.
You know what this does tell me?
Go on.
They realise that Moon Knight would have been better received if they didn't pull their punches. And now they're like, fuck it. We're in shambles.
That is the one sad thing. Seeing that trailer does make you realise, like, oh, Moon Knight would have been so good if we'd got like just full unleashed R-rated madness. But one thing I do actually really like what they did with the trailer. There is a flash of Daredevil in red suit. This is the Echo trailer. They don't have this like big, like in the trailer, like showing off Daredevil and trying to make it like Daredevil. Like the issue I think we had a little bit with She-Hulk is Daredevil became too much of the focus.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh my God, Daredevil's back. She-Hulk's just like making it a weird, like they're not trying to lean on Daredevil. They're making sure like that this is Echo's show.
Kingpin and Echo are characters tied to Daredevil, so it makes sense for Daredevil to be here, but this show is all about Echo's story. Yeah. And like we've been told that this story isn't a hero story. Echo is a villain in this story. She's out to get Kingpin. And it'll be very interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting to see how this goes. And it is also going to be the first Marvel project under the new Marvel banner, Marvel Spotlight.
Yes.
Now, there are some goods with this, and I think we have some serious concerns that I'm not seeing anyone talk about with this.
Okay.
Yeah? So, Marvel Spotlight has been described as the street-level stories in the MCU that might not necessarily have a big impact on the overall MCU continuity and story.
Yes.
Now, at its center, that sounds phenomenal. It does. There is a big problem that I think people are too excited by the concept of it that they're missing.
Okay.
And what's going to happen is this is being billed as you don't have to watch it. That's what they're billing it as. This is the extra stuff for you guys who always want more. And if you just like going to the cinema to watch the films, don't worry about Marvel Spotlight. You'll be fine. Problem is they're starting off with Kingpin, Daredevil, and Echo.
Yeah.
If we want a Daredevil film or Daredevil to co-star in a film alongside a Spider-Man against Kingpin, which is what a lot of people want. A lot of people want Spider-Man 4 to be a Spider-Man and Daredevil team-up film against Kingpin. Whatever happens in this story is going to affect the way the characters behave. And you're going to have people going, why are they behaving like that? We don't know. And then you're going to have people like me and you going, well, watch Echo and you'll understand. And they're going to go, but Echo was Marvel Spotlight. We were told we don't need to watch that.
Yeah. I do think, because I also did think that it's like they're saying you don't. This is stuff that you don't need to worry about watching for the main story, and I'm like, but for stars to know who Echo is, like if someone hasn't watched anything, they're gonna be like, so why does Echo hate Kingpin right now? Because that all happened in Hawkeye. Like her, because Kingpin and didn't it? She showed up a
Yeah, she
mess.
shot Kingpin.
Yeah. So like in that theory, it's like, but then you don't get that context because you won't have watched anything else. And then also Daredevil, Kingpin, like you say, if we want Spider-Man to get involved, or it's like if those characters, there is a weird.
When they're billing it as like a street level stories, in reality, Spider-Man films should exist under Marvel Spotlight then, because the good Spider-Man film should be street level.
Yeah.
And then what happens if, say Echo, yeah, this show, just because we don't know what else is going to be under Marvel Spotlight, we say Echo ends up being a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good that like us super nerds refer it to our friends who are more casual, and they watch it and they love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, okay, we've got to cash in on Echo. We need to do an Echo film. Well, they're then screwed, aren't they?
Yeah, I somehow
think
think
they try a character under Marvel Spotlight, and that character ends up going nuclear in popularity, and they're like, oh well, we need to do a big budget film on this character. And then everyone's like, "Oh, I don't watch Marvel Spotlight. I just watch the main films now because I've been told that's all I need to watch." And they're like, "Well, who's this fucker?"
I wouldn't be surprised if the branding gets dropped eventually.
I'm just really I like the concept. I don't want to sound like I'm shitting all over it.
No, it has
definitely some concerns.
I
feel
think
like you could accidentally put a character in a box of you can only ever be a TV character.
Yeah.
Unless Marvel Spotlight is also going to be for some films. And like the only MCU mainstream films are going to be stuff like
To do with Kang and all that.
Avengers.
Yeah.
And team up films.
But
then again, you're going to still run into that issue potentially.
Yeah. I think the problem they've got is they've started this off with a character that's already kind of like tied into so many different things.
Yeah.
If this had been Moon Knight, I'd have been like, okay, this is a character that is not even tied to anyone else yet. Fresh story. Yeah. You don't need to know anything before Moon Knight. You could have watched this and that's under Marvel Spotlight. And whether they choose to then use him in a bigger film or not is like, fine. Echo is a bit of a weird one because she's already been tied in with Hawkeye, Daredevil, which then ties her into She-Hulk. Because all these characters are all linking up. We know we want Spider-Man and Daredevil, and it's just like, it's a bit of a weird one to start with that's kind of could get very messy.
Well, this is the problem you get, like when you're reading a comic, for instance, you pick up Amazing Spider-Man's latest issue, yeah? Or Miles Morales' latest issue. Blade is in it. It's fucking awesome. So you're there, you're flicking through, and you're like, oh, cool, that's Blade. You might know who Blade is.
Mm-hmm.
And Blade is currently on a mission.
Yeah.
That you ask Spider-Man to help him with. This is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes, and Blade starts talking about what his mission is. And it's like, for more information, read this issue. And it's the Blade issue that's being referenced, yeah?
Yeah.
That's led into this interaction with Spider-Man.
Yep.
They can't do that with films. Yeah? You pay your £10 for a cinema ticket and your £10 for your popcorn and drink, and you sat there and you sit down to watch the new Daredevil Spider-Man take on Kingpin film. And then Echo pops into screen and you get a scratch record freeze frame, and it's like, for context on this, watch Echo on Disney Plus.
Do you know what would be funny?
Work.
If it's like Echo comes in and it's like, previously on Echo, and then it cuts back and it just like flicks through. Oh, you've got this cracking freeze frame of your camera, by the way. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm guessing technical issues. Oh, he's back.
I can hear you now. I heard the best thing is if Echo comes in and says,
oh, and it's like, previously on Echo.
Yeah.
And it does like the usual recap it does of at the start of the episode, and then it goes back to the film. It'd be stupid.
There are some things that work in comics that don't work in film. Just
Mm.
like in comics, no one ever stays dead apart from Uncle Ben and Batman's parents.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. That isn't the same. Like the idea that we were talking about last week of bringing back the Avengers, we know that ruins all of the emotional power of Endgame, so don't do it. But in comics, you accept that person will come back eventually.
Yeah.
So I think they're like, okay, the comics are successful because they're comics. We need to do what they do, and they're not thinking about how that stuff translates.
Yeah, I think the concept is fine. I think it's a good idea to try and separate and help the casual fans understand what to watch and what not to watch. I just think they chose the wrong thing to start it with.
100%. And I'm curious to see how they continue it on to
Yeah,
get the most
see where
out
it
of
gets used. Yeah.
Yes. Next up, this might be the second piece of good news about Blade ever. The first piece being Mahershala Ali was
I
cast as
knew.
Blade. So the
I would have.
director, go on.
Oh yeah, go on. I was gonna say a week ago, this film was close to being a write-off fully.
Yeah. The current director, we're hoping he manages to see it out. Jan Demange has confirmed that Blade will be R-rated.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot more confidence in a statement like this when we know Echo is R-rated.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Deadpool.
first thing they said about Deadpool 3 was we're not going to fuck with the Deadpool films. It will still be R-rated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Deadpool I could see because that's been proven to make money at an R rating. Disney would be like, yeah, we'll leave that. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't necessarily mean they were going to greenlight their own R-rated projects, especially once Moon Knight wasn't as brutal as it should have been.
Yeah.
Echo clearly being R-rated and a promise of Blade being R-rated.
Mm-hmm.
Blade is the kind of thing that could definitely exist under Marvel Spotlight.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be our first answer as to whether movies will be under Marvel Spotlight. But definitely very interesting, and hopefully Blade can save itself.
Fills me with confidence because Jan Demange is also the writer for the Blade film is the same one that worked on Logan.
Yes,
so
which was the R-rated superhero film.
Yeah, so it's like it's in good hands for they know what they're going to do, and they know like when a character or like a film should be R-rated. And then I think even Michelle Ali has come out and said, this being R-rated is going to allow us to do like a more gruesome side of Blade that I think he deserves to show. And it's like, okay, he seems very much more on board again after he was almost walking out. This could be positive.
Yeah, 100%.
And if it turns out a great film, I'll be blown away, honestly, after what it's gone through.
I have a lot of love for Blade as a character, and I would really, really, really like to see it get the love it deserves, and be what it can be. Right, now, this news is a piece of news I've been waiting to be able to say for 118 days.
Yep.
SAG-AFTRA have finally been offered and accepted a fair deal, thus ending the SAG-AFTRA strikes and allowing productions to restart. We won, ladies and gentlemen.
We did.
Well, it only took the fourth, this is our final offer. And even then, there was a little bit more negotiations.
Well, it eventually got like explained that the reason it's taken so long is the studios have actually had no gripe with it's not really been the other things in the contract. The one thing they've kept trying to hold on to is this want to be able to freely scan and use people with AI.
Forever.
And it's just like hoping that they'd wear them down enough that they would maybe give in to that. But SAG-AFTRA was like, we're going to call your bluff. Yeah. And they've kept holding on to the point where they finally gave in.
And what I will say is, to give SAG-AFTRA their credit, to show that they do care about everyone, like in that industry, is the last point that was being fought over was already deceased actors who they had scans for. They were like, we've already got their scans and they're dead now. We can't get their consent now, so we should be able to use them as we want. and they're like, only if their estate consents
Yes.
and if their estate gets paid under the rules you've negotiated for living actors.
Yes.
They're like, you are not going to start using dead actors whose likenesses you've got without getting permission from their estate and without paying their estate what you'd have to pay them. Not a chance.
And you know what I kind of hope? I hope some of the estates of certain Star Wars actors and actresses that are no longer with us say no.
Yeah, 100%.
And we move away from digital doubles.
Yeah. Get real actors in jobs again, please.
But yeah, across the board, great for everyone.
And because productions can now restart, productions are expected to start. Like, these are projects that are seen as priority projects to get restarted for studios. Deadpool 3, Venom 3, voice work for Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. Beyond the Spider-Verse. And I've read actually since writing this as well that apparently the Penguin series is a priority for HBO.
I can imagine it is.
So us nerds are in a good spot. 4 of the projects we care about are getting rammed to the top of the production schedule.
And I do believe that like they finally gave in on trying to hold on to these points like AI and stuff that the studios were trying to hold on to, because they were now, it got to a point, we talked a couple of weeks ago, that the boards of like Netflix were putting pressure on this. Like it was starting to get pressure from more places than just SAG-AFTRA. Like other like people involved on the studio sides, like boards and stuff, were putting the pressure on, and I think that was the final push that it needed.
They were starting to hurt people's bottom lines enough that they were like, just give them what they want. It can't hurt this much.
Yeah.
And the 3-year minimum deal is worth about $1 billion to the actors union,
which
like the actors.
I'm not sure if that's actually ended up being more than what was originally wanted.
So what I will say is I know for a fact the base pay, which they wanted like a 4% pay rise on, are guaranteed to go up 3% for the next 3 years. They ended up getting more than that.
Okay.
Because I think what was happening was, and this is pure speculation, I think what probably happened was they were offering over the odds there
to try and keep the AI
to try and reduce the AI stuff. And then they gave them a bit of that back, but they were still above what they were asking for, and then got the AI stuff anyway.
Yeah. I imagine like the studios were trying to sweeten the deal in all the other places. Then they were like, oh, okay, let's take a little bit off that. And then at the end, they've gone, right, we'll get rid of the AI thing. And SAG-AFTRA's gone, okay, we'll take that deal. You left all the other stuff in as well. Jobs are good. And I mean, it's great. It's great for everyone.
We love to see it.
We do.
More good news about nerd stuff. Now that Hori's fully locked into the Boys universe with me, the first posters for the Boys season 4 have started coming out.
They have.
So the poster is Homelander at some kind of a party celebration thing with like his arms out, looking all victorious and glorious.
And before it's him becoming president.
Yeah, and then you have Butcher clearly at the party after all of the confetti's on the floor, looking at the ground as if he's investigating something. It's a cold as fuck poster. Both of them are actually.
Both of them are really cool. Yeah. Showing the two sides of what is going to be the Boys.
Yeah. And Eric Kripke, the showrunner, headrunner, very important person to the Boys production, has confirmed that season 4 of The Boys has finished editing. It is halfway through VFX. Sound and music is about a quarter of the way done. And now that the strikes are over, the actors can return to record additional dialogue. I didn't even know The Boys used much of the recording additional dialogue, which goes back to what we were talking about. When it's done well, you don't notice it, and when it's done poorly, it is so noticeable.
I imagine there's some situations where, like, Visible Man, and like when there's VFX involved in, and they might have to like use a digital double and then obviously re-record to time it up properly. There's probably situations like that, and yeah, we've never noticed. So obviously do a good job.
What I will say, as much as I despise Amazon as a mega corporation,
they're kind of
They are
hitting.
they're doing a good job of letting creative people be creative on their video
Yeah.
streaming platform. Talking of a video streaming platform and horrific mega corporations, last week we said that Disney were buying out
Yeah, they were
Comcast's
preparing it.
share of Hulu for like $9 billion. That has now been confirmed that Disney Plus and Hulu will be merging into one app, and this is expected to take place in March 2024. So no doubt they're going to find a way to increase the subscription price of Disney Plus by a pretty substantial amount. They're like, look at all this Hulu stuff you don't want that you're now getting.
Yeah.
So be ready for that. Now, this news isn't the kind of news that would normally make it into the Nerd News Network.
It's not, but
however, this is generational news. To put this news in perspective, Hori was a young man the last time. I have been with Jenna for 9 years, 10 years in like 6 months' time, 7 months' time, somewhere around that. We're in the process of buying a house together, a home. And the last time this happened, I didn't even know she existed.
It's wild.
We have finally been told that GTA 6 is coming.
It's
We're expecting a trailer to drop at the beginning of December.
It's wild because it's like I saw GTA 6 once again trending on Twitter and I was like, what's the rumor this time?
I just took it as that, it's another one of these 6 monthly, it's getting released soon tweets that never turns into anything.
And then I look on my timeline and I see someone who quote tweeted Rockstar and I was like, wait, go on it. And they like, it was like an hour ago and they're just like, oh, this is the 25th anniversary or something of Rockstar Games or whatever. Oh, it was more, I don't know, but
no, 25th anniversary.
Yeah, and then it's like a thread, and then it goes, oh, there is going to be a trailer for the next Grand Theft Auto early December, and it's like, oh shit, the official account's tweeted, it's happening, it's finally here.
Everyone stay calm, it's happening. I was the living embodiment of the Michael Scott gift from The Office. It's like, everyone stay calm.
Everyone's like, it's happening, December, it's coming, it's here, it's finally here. It's not a drill. This is not a drill anymore.
So, what I am going to ask you, when do you think it'll be released? Based on, so I have a couple of thoughts about this. So, based on the gaming industry as a whole, normally we get a trailer and then have to wait like 18 months to 2 years. I don't think Rockstar are dumb enough to do that. Purely because people have already waited so long and they were waiting semi-patiently. Once you show a trailer, people are going to bombard them constantly with for more updates. Whereas when they were like acting like it wasn't really happening, people left them alone.
Yeah.
Which makes me more confident that we could be looking at 6 months to a year.
Yes.
I'm thinking like September next year to come in and steal everyone's money away from COD and FIFA.
So my initial thought is GTA is the sort of game that they would either release with a new gen console, but I don't think we've heard anything about a new gen coming yet.
I mean, they've just done the mid-gen refresh for PlayStation 5.
Or it's holiday. And with the trailer coming out in December, if they were like, oh yeah, it's out next week, that would be
no. Imagine the trailer goes live, and then at the end of the trailer, it just goes available to buy now.
Yeah, that would be wild. But I don't see them doing that.
Just zero marketing. They're just like, we believe in our source.
They could probably do that, and it would work.
They could get away with it. 100%.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it's holiday 2024, with the idea of Christmas, holiday sales, everyone like that period.
As a general rule with games that want to make loads of money around the holidays, they'll release it end of September, beginning of October, because idiots like me and you will buy it straight away because we're not missing out on this. And then they can get even more money for it then before it goes into the Christmas season where parents will buy it for their kids. I
wouldn't be surprised if it's like October, because there's like pretty much every country has like a couple of weeks in October, whether it's Thanksgiving or October half term in the UK. Like there's that period where they know kids have time off. Good time. And then, like you say, couple months later, it's Christmas. Parents will buy it for the kids that are younger or have to do chore. Yeah.
I am so unbelievably beyond ready.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
GTA 5 did not release on PC straight away. Do you think?
I have all the consoles. I don't give a fuck.
No, I know.
I'm playing it day one.
I waited a year to play GTA 5 and got it on PC. I remember staying up, playing it through the night and all-nighter and going to work the next day. Do you think they are dumb enough to not launch on PC?
I don't think so.
I don't either. But also, do you think this will be a complete game? Or with the current trend of how games release, do you think it's going to be a broken mess?
They've had at least 11 years, potentially 12 or 13 by the time the game actually comes out. If it is not a full game, I will have lost all faith in game development. Rockstar are the only people I trust anymore to release a full game. Yeah, this is a company I didn't even know existed.
I know. But no, that's what I mean.
Like a AAA dev, they're the only people I trust anymore.
I have to. I agree. If Rockstar doesn't launch this perfectly,
gaming's done.
We're in dark days of gaming.
100%.
Because
they have not released anything since 2018 with Red Dead Redemption.
If they succumb to the current trend of release a sort of broken game, we'll patch it with DLC and patches in the next month. If they succumb to that standard, it's such a sad time.
Do you know what the problem is? There is a trend on Twitter right now of deliberately trying to bug out and break games. When GTA 5 launched, it did have bugs. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad, but as every AAA game of that size does, there will be bugs. And the problem you'll have is you'll have these clout chasers on Twitter going out of their way to make these big, horrible bugs that no normal person would accidentally do. And then it will get posted with 100 million impressions going, GTA 6 broken mess, blah, 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 blah. And it can create this narrative that the game is a broken mess. When actually... Are you ready for my hot take?
Oh.
Yeah?
Yep.
Spider-Man 2 had more game-breaking bugs at launch than Starfield.
I haven't played either, so I can't really...
I have over 100 hours in Starfield now. I've experienced one game-breaking bug that within 30 seconds of Googling, I fixed. Very easily. Spider-Man 2, I had to reload saves a couple dozen times because an objective didn't update and I physically couldn't progress the mission.
Question, though. Which felt more immersive of a world? With, actual stuff going on?
Starfield.
Really?
100%.
From what everything I saw Spider-Man's world seemed more interesting.
You didn't say more interesting, you said more immersive.
Well, immersive and full and actually alive.
Spider-Man 2 is a cinema game. You spend as much time watching really beautifully put together choreographed cutscenes as you do playing the game. Starfield is just you. Spider-Man is not the game I lose 8 hours playing. Starfield is. Because I'm sucked in. I'm doing my thing. No one's accidentally jump scaring me while I'm sat here playing Spider-Man. Because I'm not that locked in. Playing Starfield, I got jump scared 7 times because I was so locked in I forgot the real world existed.
Fair.
And this is the problem. I think there are going to be haters or people who want clout who are going to go out of their way to cause a bug and then act like it's a huge bug that's really prevalent and a huge problem.
I think...
And they're going to tell people how to do the bug. And then people can be like, oh, I want to see if I can do it. And they're going to be like, oh my God, what a mess. It's like, my brother in Christ, you flew a specific jet to a specific corner of the map and did a specific trip using a
Mm.
specific gun to get this glitch to happen.
I think the big thing will be if they have the things we've come accustomed to in GTA 5, they need to have at launch, like the ability to do private matches and custom lobbies. And there needs, I hope, because knowing that they've talked to the No Pixel and RP community, hopefully there's like those people are going to hit
Really
the
good
ground.
system.
Hopefully they're kind of got them on NDAs and they're like setting them up early, like in so they can launch with it.
I'll be honest, I actually hope they do what they did with GTA 5 and go, although they announced it before they even launch, and they're like, online is ready. We are not releasing it for a month because we want everyone to play the full game first.
Yeah.
Because that was their reason why GTA 5 Online wasn't there on launch. They were like, we want
Well,
everyone to play the actual game first. And then they delayed online because it wasn't actually ready as well. I
I
want them
don't
to be like,
recall that.
you've all got 30 days to play the game and get as far
Yeah.
through that as you can, and then online can come.
Oh yeah, if they say it is this is the day it's coming out and it does,
Yeah.
like cool. It's just it's
Yeah.
gonna be
Everything
interesting
needs
to
to be
see.
ready to go at launch.
Yeah.
But me and you are also more patient people who are like, yes, I want it. Release it when it's ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,